Alright, so it is February 13th, 2011. I'm Ben Kerson, and this is Bruce Gibson, Realtor to the Stars. Today Bruce is going to just tell you a little bit about purchasing real estate, things to consider, and one of the main things we want to talk about today is when you're ready to sign the paperwork, make the offer, there's still a whole multitude of things to consider before going that first step. So take it away, Bruce.
So I've been asked today to talk about a potential buyer buying a property and what they should be looking out for actually before they make the offer and after they make the offer. There's essentially two ways that a buyer can go about looking for real estate. He can either look himself by approaching listing realtors direct, by phoning ads in the paper, by looking up on the internet, or he can hire the services of a buyer's agent, which is a realtor that he can get a name of from a referral or from a lawyer or from perhaps somebody he's met in order to look for the real estate. Today I'm going to talk about not the buyer's agent so much, but what a person should do if they're contemplating buying real estate on their own before they actually buy the property. As far as getting a buyer's agent is concerned, you can go out and you can look at as many properties as you want with listing agents, and then you can bring that buyer's agent in at any time to represent you. It doesn't cost you any money. He gets his share from the sale, from the selling commission, and it is your option as to whether or not you continue to deal with the listing agent alone, in which case you don't have representation, you have dual representation, or you in fact hire your own buyer's agent. So today I'll talk about what you should be looking for if you're a buyer looking for some property. The first thing you should do is you should go out and look at as many properties as possible. Just prior to that, you should probably go to a mortgage broker or a lending institution and find out what you qualify for as far as a mortgage is concerned with your down payment and what you can afford to buy and how much they will lend you. Once you've got that amount of money committed to, then you can go out and you can look at price ranges of properties that you want to buy. So once you get out in the marketplace and you start looking, typically this time of year there's a lot of property on the market, this being the January, February time, and the majority of properties come on the market in the spring. So we're looking at the biggest supply at this stage, which is probably the best time to look. If you're looking for property by yourself, which is what we're discussing, we've discussed the financing aspects of it. Once you find a property that is of interest to you, and presumably you've looked at enough to educate yourself in the market as far as what values are, and that you're looking at something that's fairly good value, then at that point you should probably get a letter of permission from the seller or from the listing agent to go to the municipality to access all the records on the property. This will allow you to look at zoning the property, what the permissible uses are on the property. It will also allow you to look at any building permits that have been taken out over a period of time to ascertain if the person has done whatever renovations he's done on the property legally, and to see if there are any outstanding issues as far as the building inspection department is concerned, re the property, or any complaints in the neighborhood regarding other properties and their uses, possibly being illegal, such as a grow-op or whatever. So you can find out a lot from the municipalities or from the city as far as what's going on in the neighborhood. So once you've been there and found the zoning and discussed with the building inspections department, you should probably do a title search on the property. Under the Canadian law, we are dealing with every property is essentially a bundle of rights, and those bundle of rights are registered at the land titles office. And when you go to the land titles office to search that title, any charge against the property that is enforceable has to be charged against the title. So there will be a list of charges on the title. And they could be under surface rights for the government of the Queen. So if you discover gold in the property, it would have to be reverted back to the government or the Queen. You'd be looking at easements on the property from BC Hydro, from BC Tel, as far as access over certain parts of the property to repair telephone lines or hydro lines. You could be looking at corporation, municipality easements to repair sewers or storm sewers that may be running across the property. And these all limit your use on the property and where you can build on it. So you would want to know what restrictions are on the property as far as the easements and as far as the title is concerned. So now you've found what the restrictions are from the municipality, and you've also found the restrictions as far as the title is concerned. And also on the title, it will show you things like builder's liens. So if the fellow has done some work on the property and has not paid somebody for a foundation or construction or whatever, there could be an outstanding lien, which would give you a clue as to what the motivation is for the person selling the property. The next part would be to probably, you can either get a home inspector in to take a look at the property prior to making an offer on the property, and the risk you run there is you pay a building inspector or a home inspector to look at the property and all physical aspects of it to make sure they're in good shape, and you can pay $300 to $400 to have an inspector come through and take a look at the property. You may, while you're having the inspection done, lose the property to another party who's putting an offer on the property and gets it accepted. So it's your call as to whether or not you have the home inspection done before, or you have the home inspection done after. The advantage to having the home inspection done before is that when you put the offer in, you know the shortcomings of the property, and your offer will reflect what you need to do to that property. If you have to replace storm drains, or if you have to place downspouts or a roof or whatever, you know ahead of time what you're in for. It's a lot easier to go in with that knowledge, making the offer, than it is going back after you have established a price with the seller and trying to renegotiate the value of the house based upon what your home inspector has found wrong with it. So generally speaking, it's whatever your preference is to do it before or to make the offer subject to a home inspection. Now, when you make the offer, you will make it subject to a home inspection, as we've just discussed, and subject to financing, getting a final commitment from the bank as far as what the financing on the property commitment is concerned. They will want to do an appraisal to make sure that the value is there. They will want a survey on the property to make sure that the house is not encroaching on any neighboring boundaries. And they will also want to have a survey to show where all the easements, if there are any, or rights of way are on the property. So you'd be making it subject to financing, subject to a home inspection. You'll also make it subject to a title search, and it would be at that point that I would get the services of a lawyer to take a look at the title to make sure that, in fact, whatever's charged against the title is researched and you know exactly what you're looking at. In layman terms, to try and search a title and to look at the full right of way agreement or the full easement agreement. They're pretty legally involved, and it would be good to have a lawyer to discuss that. You will also be buying it subject to getting a property insurance binder on the property. And what that means is that you want to make sure that you can get house insurance on the property, because they will not give you a mortgage unless you can get house insurance. Typically, house insurance is easy to get on virtually every house that you would buy in the Greater Victoria area. The only exception would be is if you're buying in an outlying area with a volunteer fire department, and if you're too far away from a source of putting the fire out, such as a hydrant or some kind of fire department. Being a volunteer fire department, insurance companies take a bit of a dim view because they're not full-time employees, and it takes a longer time to react to the fire, so there's difficulties as far as that's concerned. So that's basically it as far as what you need to look for when you're looking for a property. The biggest single thing, of course, is to make sure that you're getting good value. And there's two ways that you can do that. Firstly is by looking at the market and looking at as many properties in your price range as possible so that you get a feel of the market. If you do decide to enlist the services of a buyer's agent, it is his duty to educate you in the market as far as what value is concerned, and get you to a point of where he's not telling you that this is a good deal that he's showing you, but in fact that he's showing you enough property that at the end of the day you are as educated as he is in the price range that you're looking for, and you know that what you're buying represents good value. And I think as far as researching the comparable sales and the financing bracket that you're getting involved in, you'll be able to ascertain what you're looking at as far as whether it's good value or not, and whether the house you're buying is going to be a good investment and also suit your needs. Buying houses, to quote an old realtor that I worked under 39 years ago, is buying a house is a matter of the heart and the pocketbook. The realtor can advise you as far as the pocketbook is concerned, what the investment is like, whether it's good or whether it's bad. But at the end of the day, you have to have that knowledge to be able to make that decision. The aspects of the heart is the fact that you're going to be living in the house and it's going to become your home, and you have to be satisfied with the fact that you're going to be comfortable there. So I think that sort of rounds up what you'd be looking at briefly as far as somebody being a new home buyer. And I would say that if you kind of follow that general description of approaching buying a house, you'll probably be able to find a good one. Thank you very much.
All right, so one thing I'd like to add to that, as many of you know, especially you graduates who've been through the program, don't believe in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index funds, real estate, dirt, land. That is, in my opinion, the way to find financial freedom. Over 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago, Bruce sold a triplex for Nancy and I, and really the sale of that triplex was one of the building blocks to our financial freedom. Without the sale of that property and the purchase of a few other key properties, there's no way we would have been able to do many of the things we wanted to achieve, and that probably included the professional trainers program. With that financial base established, we were able to fulfill some of our business dreams, including the professional dog trainers program. Bruce, thanks very much, and I'm sure many students and graduates throughout the world will value your comments.
Thank you very much.